she's never played or seen Street Fighter at all, and she saw the movie. She liked Zangief. She thought he was goofy and stupid enough, and she loved Raul Julia because, of course, how can you not enjoy Raul Julia?
Hello and welcome back to This Is the Wave, the weekly Star Wars The Acolyte discussion podcast with me, Ollie Johnson, and introduce yourselves.
Hirosknight, that's Seb over here.
Murasaki, the casual watcher of this show, so the closest we'll get to neutral.
Whereas I'm a competitive watcher. I've put in more hours than you guys have.
Yeah, I'm a ranked competitive watcher of television.
Yes.
Basically, they're wankers.
True.
Barely even people anymore.
Let's not with the dehumanization.
My God, he's more product than man now.
What?
It can talk.
I know. What's he going to do next? Go on a quest for fire? Invent the stick?
Yeah, this still isn't going through to the Facebook thing. I don't...
We had this problem on Tuesday.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay. Stream Elements says I am now live. So, were we even for that? I assume we were. So, yeah.
I'm still Seb anyway.
Yeah, I'm Ollie.
Murasaki just doing. He's just doing parent.
TriggerGoblin.
Trigger is here.
Oh, Trigger.
He was waiting for you two to stop going off. He was like, boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna wait.
Fair enough, mate. Okay, so.
Well, I've got to dehumanize Ollie.
I've told you stop. You got to stop picking on Ollie. You know he can't stand up for himself.
I know.
You get a pass.
That's what makes it funnier.
I guess I've got to be the bigger man now.
The funny thing about that is that Discord cut you off.
I know.
Right. Why does that keep happening, by the way? I don't understand that. Because Ollie makes it sound like it's something that you've elected to have to prevent you from saying anything to.
It comes across like that. It comes across like that, but Discord just cuts me off. I don't know if it's bad signal because I'm in a rural area.
I think it might be something to do with your thresholds.
Yeah, that's.
Probably.
It seems like that because when you repeat something, it usually cuts you off at exactly the same time. So, like that's a bit too much of a. That's a bit too similar to be a signal thing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
the show.
Anyway,
the point.
I watched it, although I'll just say I don't really have that much to say about it.
Yeah. Also, could everybody get on the Twitch so I can get their numbers?
Yeah, all right.
Which, of course, you all already are.
Yes. Because I just feel like the episode.
I know you are, Trey.
Like,
I'm on there. I'm always on there.
I know.
Usually twice.
Trigger's a real one.
I enjoyed this episode. I just feel like I'll either enjoy it more or based on what happens next week because it feels like it's one specific character's side of the story.
Yeah, there's still more. It does feel like there's still more to come, doesn't it?
Well, it was following one person's side of the story because we didn't really get to see what happened when. Sorry if I'm getting ahead, but we didn't see a lot of the twin and what she was doing after she decided to use the crazy person technique of I don't want you to leave, so I'm going to kill you. I was saying to Trig earlier, but then wouldn't she lose a sister anyway because she's killed her sister?
I mean,
that's crazy people talk.
It does lend credence to the last time they interacted, where she saw her sister and shot on sight.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now.
Because I would think most people in her situation.
The episode does establish that a sister is really disruptive. Doesn't pay any attention, and I'm just going to say might have some attention disabilities because she is very unfocused with everything going on.
It might just be that she doesn't like the witchcraft thing.
Yeah,
because she seemed to be focused on the repairs on the bike and all the Jedi stuff. She seems to be engrossed in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just I have very little care for this witchcrafty mumbo jumbo.
Like against your parents.
In that case, she was trying to pay attention, but her sister just kept nudging her, and then that just starts the typical child thing of, "Will you just stop it and pay it?" Because she even tells her, "Will you stop it and pay attention?"
Right. Well, yeah, I thought it was an interesting piece of backstory, but we got to talk about the implications.
I thought it was only going to be a short one, but I'm actually glad it was the full episode.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, especially on streaming services, TV episodes nowadays are basically as long or as short as they need to be. Like, they no longer have to stick to the usual 45 minutes because they don't have to worry about commercials and fitting a time slot. So sometimes you'll get an episode that's at half an hour, sometimes you'll get one that's 3/4 of an hour.
I will say, though, pretty much across the board, I don't think things get enough episodes.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking about this the other day. It's a trend that I don't like.
Like, sometimes a little padding is good.
I would sooner quality over quantity, but at the same time, I like a series of TV when there's 24 episodes and they're all pretty good and they all have something to offer and there's something to look forward to each week.
Well, yeah, and also an important part of being invested in characters and a setting is spending time with them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get to do a lot with, say, an 8-episode season of Doctor Who, for example.
Oh God, don't get me started on that. There's not enough of that.
Yeah. I still haven't seen the latest episode, but
I still haven't. That's not what we're here to discuss today, Ollie.
Yeah, I know.
Ollie, just so you know, this one is the low point, I think, of the season.
Oh. Trigger's normally quite positive, so that's...
It's a good episode, but a lot of it is, does it work, or mode. And it's like, it's a good story, and it's a fair episode on its own, but again, it's like, this is kind of a very filler episode in the middle of something that you really shouldn't be fillering.
I don't know if I'd call that filler. It's quite important context, and I think there's clues to what's going to happen next in there as well.
No.
Well, no. Hear me out. Right. So you got a bit more about who the sisters are, what their background is, who their parents.
Oh no, I'm talking about Doctor Who.
No, it's talking about Doctor Who.
Sorry, I think it's.
No.
I think you're talking about the show we were discussing on the stream.
This show.
Think that.
I was going to say.
No. With Doctor Who, that was very fillery for no reason. This, on the other hand, I feel like I was right with there's going to be 2 episodes setting up the problem, 2 episodes explaining what the actual problem was, and then we've got 2 episodes to solve the problem.
Well, again, because we've only seen it from one, like the girl's perspective, like how she's living. She's told to, fail the test and everything. Although I was saying to you that the whole idea that they had of there's only 4 Jedi. It's like, yeah, but if you kill them, they might send the Republic more after them.
Yeah, send the National Guard or whatever they got.
Yeah, they'd send more, and I don't think this small coven is going to be able to handle an entire load of Jedi.
One thing I really did appreciate about this episode was a look at yet another sect of Force practitioners that exist outside the Jedi-Sith dichotomy.
Which there should be.
It just feels like there's a lot of witches out there.
Back me up on this.
Because these aren't Night Sisters.
Ollie,
no,
back me up.
They're Day Sisters.
Ollie, back me up on this. I was saying to Trigger that it was very clear that the two, the two they keep calling mothers, they're very clearly in a relationship, right?
I mean, they've got
that whole. You've seen those things where you've got the one parent who's like, no.
They definitely have a 2 moms vibe going on.
Yeah, well, that's very. Yeah. But here's
Because
the
I
funny thing
don't know
about
if they're
that.
together though.
Well, it was
That's the thing.
it was
Yeah.
obvious. It was obvious to me because you've got the one that's going, "You little shits," so I'm not giving you a treat, and then the parent who's like, "Oh no, spoil them and give them anything they want." That is a parent dynamic, and it's a very annoying one, but it is real. I can
No,
Here's
but
attest to.
that's the thing. I think there might be a parent dynamic, but it doesn't mean there's a sexual dynamic between the two.
Well, I'm not. Well,
They,
it's the way.
they basically reproduced through the Force, didn't they?
Well,
Well,
that's the thing. We don't know.
The implication is that they
Yeah.
created them through the Force. They said they had no father, and people
like,
are
not in a
complaining about
dark-
that apparently, saying that makes Anakin not special anymore because, as we all know, Immaculate Conception stops being a big deal with the second one.
Yeah, but
But
didn't they
here's
want?
the thing, though.
isn't this-
It's not necessarily the same sort of thing. I just saw it more as like a Force IVF rather than like creating a
Well,
new
this-
being from the Force.
we don't-
These
we
are
don't
the same
exactly know
people that
how- we
wanted the
don't- we-
story of Darth Plagueis, though,
Yeah,
which would have been him doing this about 1,000 times.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
plus
also,
they make it a bit. They make it a big deal that if the Jedi found out how they were created, they make that a point. They make an implication. So we don't exactly know how. We've only got speculation based
You know
on.
what I think's ironic?
what?
What
A
I
lot
think's
of-
ironic
you know-
is that an obviously contextual lesbian mom was the one who didn't want her daughter to live her life the way she wanted to and try an alternative lifestyle of being a Jedi out. I've just found that ironic.
I see.
No, you're going to grow up to be a Night Sister and you're going to like it.
I had
I
a
did make a
thought
joke-
when
I
I
did make a
was
joke.
talking
To
to.
make a joke beforehand that of course the Jedi have a problem. Lesbians reproducing.
Well,
I'm
this
sure
is the
they'll
problem,
it's
though. That
unnatural.
Sam's just jumped on the problem, though. It's literally, I didn't see any lesbianism in this, and a lot of people are quoting that.
That's
And
a
it's like,
problem for you.
no. But this is the thing. Everyone's saying, "Oh, there's a space lesbian. They're all lesbians." It's like, did you saw any kissing lesbian actions in any way in this?
At
'Cause I
no
didn't.
point they were part of a coven.
Yeah.
I saw some like a little bit of like closeness, but not the whole, not blatant. I'm not expecting scissoring from it or anything.
What we
No, no,
saw
no,
was
no,
the person
Oh,
raising
no,
the
completely
kids.
different show.
What I'm saying is, it was clear that those two are closer, but again, they're both raising. They're both seem to be a lot closer to those two than anything else. So
Because that's the thing.
that's
There's
what-
going to be a
that's what
huge pushback saying they're all lesbians, and you're like,
There
really,
is no
fucking-
actual
if they
proof
were.
of that.
there is no proof of that. It's
Well,
like this
well,
could all
even
be
though-
just a sisterhood
yeah,
of
yeah,
nuns.
but to play devil's advocate,
Oh,
even
no.
if that was the case,
Mm.
why does that matter?
No, I'm
Yeah,
just saying
exactly.
what the buzzword will be.
Yeah, it
Oh,
will
well,
be.
yeah.
But
yeah,
let's
but who cares?
for a moment
It's-
stick to the facts, and the facts of it are there are two kids that were carried by one member of this coven, but are being raised by
A very
person.
horny one, mind you.
Yes, a
Which
very
is a-
horny
here's-
one. She's a
here's a
Zabra.
Sorry, I
question.
had to. I had to.
Why aren't they?
Yeah.
What?
Well, surely that the DNA would pass through.
Hmm.
They should have horns,
Yeah,
at least.
So you're saying they should be
Maybe
hornier?
but they
Maybe that's
clearly
what-
look
maybe that's
more
what the
like the
hair's
coven
covering.
leader.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what the
it's
hair's
very
covering.
weird.
So perhaps this is some sort of magic surrogate deal.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah,
She said
That's
she carried them.
exactly,
She didn't
Ollie.
conceive
That
them.
is exactly why I think it is.
Yeah.
Force
And
magic.
the person raising them is the coven leader. Maybe that's why she's the one raising them. Because as the leader, it falls to her to do that.
Because the thing is, we've
Yeah,
seen
it's
this
like
in
a
Star
broom.
Wars before. It's literally alien DNA is the stronger variant. So if you've got a human partner and a Twi'lek, for example, the children almost always have Twi'lek features.
I mean, like
It's
the
not-
green-haired kid from Rebels.
Yeah, it's like they always have a dominant feature from the alien race because the alien DNA is stronger than the base human.
Yeah.
And
That
it's like
is true.
they should have some sort of marking, some sort of horn, some sort of scaliness to them. If they're
What if their hair's covering it? Or better yet, what
That's
if it's
true.
what if they've got with the aliens? I mean, you're thinking facially.
So
But
you're
what if
saying
they-
they're
what if they-
horny, but they're not horny on main.
No, what I'm saying is, what if the alien trait they take isn't necessarily, facial? Like, what if they take a trait? a trait from that particular alien species has something else. Like, I don't know, what if they have 3 butt cheeks?
No, but I don't think I've ever seen a member of
is
that race
why
without
Big
horns.
Fortuna looks so comfy when he sits down in the Book of Boba Fett? Because he's got extra cushioning.
Maybe.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 3 of them.
That's it. I don't think I've ever seen a member of that race without horns. I think that
I
is
don't
a
think I've ever seen
dominant.
their butt cheeks.
It's entirely possible
Why
that
would you?
I mean, you might have done, but I haven't.
And I
don't know.
had a thought when I was talking to Dan about it earlier, who is not here this week, unfortunately. We will open next week with his thoughts on this episode. And we talked about how the twins, well, one of them seems to think they're basically the same person, and then it hit me. Oh, God, they're a fucking dyad, aren't they?
Yeah, they might do the dyad thing.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, would have been a really interesting concept to explore in the movies if they had done that rather than pull it out of the ass at the last minute.
Here's the thing, though, Ollie. In Rise of Skywalker, it said that there hasn't been a dyad in the Force for generations, and this happened generations before then.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm
it's quite
thinking.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could well be.
Yeah, that they might be actually exploring the concept of a Force dyad, which for anyone who might not have seen Rise of Skywalker, I think there is at least one person in this chat who hasn't.
So I want to wrap up that discussion we've just had and then bring up a new point. That's all right. So
yeah, hold on. I was saying to explain the dyad to people who haven't seen the Rise of Skywalker, it is essentially, according to the Force, being like, 2 that are 1 is the words that we use. So basically, the same being across 2 different people.
It's all in them.
Yeah, basically. That's what a dyad allegedly is.
So basically schizophrenia.
Well, no, because there's 2 bodies that are sharing the same soul or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
So it's physical schizophrenia.
I don't think that could be a thing.
Yeah.
By definition.
I think it's more like I don't know. Some sort of spiritual
so an
connection.
Individual shared across 2 beings.
I think you overcomplicated it a bit.
They have that rhyme that sort of is making it kind of obvious. Always 1 but born as 2, I think they say.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so alright, Seb, what were you going to say? Sorry.
So I was going to wrap up that previous bit by saying the main complaint was that the lesbian witch moms weren't horny enough. Okay, and then now I'm going to bring up, right.
Well, one of them certainly was.
Yeah, one was. So, yeah, I'm going to bring up that, what's the betting? Let's all place bets now that the Jedi started that whole massacre.
I think that is going to be where it's going.
I was going to bring that up because I said to Trigger, how long did it take for her to get out of the bedroom? Realistically, after the fire started,
and bodies were piled in the open air area.
She as a child could not have killed the fire itself. Could not if the fire had killed them, they would be a lot of Uncle Owens.
Yeah, there were no burns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
there
also
were no burns. They were killed by something else. The fire didn't get them. Also, when she saw her sister, she said, "What have you done?" And then she responded with, "What have you done?" Which to me,
both of them are clueless.
Both of them are clueless because one of them thinks one of them's killed. You've killed our moms, and the other one's like, more probably. And I'm just putting it that if the Jedi did it, she's going to blame her for the Jedi even coming back. Because the Jedi very clearly want her, and she's very adamant to go. Like, I want to do this. I want to be a Jedi, despite everyone else saying, no, you don't. No, you want this. And then, of course, her sister going full. You're not going it. I'm not going to let you go, so I'm going to kill you. Which is fucking insane.
What I noticed is the. Sorry, Sam. You cut out. I didn't realise we were still talking.
I was going to say that I think the Jedi did something because the Jedi were very quick to get in there after the fire started. They were very close. Now you could make the argument they were try to pick her up, but I can't really say that the fire hasn't done enough damage to the place to warrant outside interference.
See, I know what
I
my
reckon they
money's
were
on.
there the whole time.
Yeah.
I know what my money's on.
Go on.
Well, Horny Witch basically had a strike team already. I think she started it.
Interesting.
I think they
interesting.
followed them back to the thing.
Well, because the mom's the only one.
A fight broke out between the witches, and everyone died in the crossfire.
We should point out that a lot of bodies were piled outside, pretty neatly. So
I didn't notice how neat they were.
I mean,
Has anyone paused this and had a look and seen if there's any lightsaber burns or anything?
I haven't. I will look back on it, but the bodies were all outside. The fire would not have got them there, so something did.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, they were killed by someone, I think.
But Trig brings up a good point. Only because in that entire coven, they are obsessed. There seem to be two minds. Like the main mom, eventually is the more reasonable of all of them, because the rest of them are fucking stupid.
I think main mom might have taken them out.
Well, the first thing they thought when the Jedi turn up was lie to them right after they were caught. Caught with the kids. They knew they were there, so there was that. Then they think, oh, let's just kill the Jedi. There's only 4 of them, which is also dumb. They're also going, they're coming to take our children. So, instantly, I think there's going to be, because the main one was supportive of it enough, fine, if you want to do it, fine, but you won't see me again. It's very unlikely you'll ever see me again, because she at least knows that this is how the Jedi thing works, that, when you go on, it's very unlikely you're going to see your family again if you're taken. So, but she supports it. The sister very clearly doesn't, and the rest of the coven very clearly it does not like the idea of a ghost. So the idea of I don't want to call it a civil war, because that's maybe a bit stretching it a
Schism.
bit. A disagreement that went completely out of hand. I do think it's possible the Jedi caused it. That's probably the most obvious answer, is that the Jedi probably caused it. But but Trig does make a point that there's possibly a massive disagreement of we're losing one of the kids.
Yeah, the tensions are going to be high.
They know.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that they know that she's talented enough. They know she's good, and maybe they're scared of losing the best of their generation, the best one.
Oh yeah, there is also that. But here's why I think it's probably the Jedi that started the fight.
Maybe a remark got misinterpreted, things escalated, a fight broke out.
No. I've got a reason why I think so. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Master Soul was very quick to draw his lightsaber when they had that initial confrontation. So I think this was earlier on in his life when he was a lot more headstrong and quick to fight. And so he probably escalated things, but then they got out of hand. Maybe thought that if he threatened them, then he could get them to back down, and it did the work. The opposite, because of what Trigger said, and it was his fault that things got out of hand. They maybe didn't initially turn up premeditated, no pun intended, in order to massacre them all, but that's just what ended up happening, and they couldn't stop it, which would explain why Master Torbin felt so guilty, because he probably could have done more to stop things getting out of hand, and he didn't.
It's possible that both kind of happened. It's possible the Jedi were planning it, but there was also conflict, because it's very clear that there's massive. Obviously, the leader of the coven and the rest of the group, and I'm guessing that because we don't see how once she's done the whole okay, I'm going to become a Jedi, I'm going to go off and learn to be a Jedi and learn their way. You don't really see how the rest of the coven react to this.
No.
So it's entirely possible that there's a massive disagreement, because the coven leader has to struggles to keep them under control a lot, because she has to stop them from she pretty much lets the Jedi do what they've got to do when they say, you do understand that, that as Jedi, we have to test potential recruits no matter what. And she seems reluctant, but she understands that she can't cause. She's smart enough to know she can't cause a problem with them here, because even though there's only 4 of them, it could lead to worse things for the Coven. So on the outside, it looks like she's caving to them, but in reality, she's doing what she can to protect them.
Yeah, just being realistic.
Yeah, because if she tries to fight the Jedi, it would lead to maybe more Jedi coming, and these covens are only probably the members we've seen, which is a small handful.
Yeah, I think for context, we got that they were kind of a branch off, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. They're not a big group, so they can't afford. And she probably knows we can't afford it. So some of them are probably a bit more with their Jedi are taking our taking our kid, or taking one of our, one of our. Well, they make it clear that the 2 are special. So losing them is probably, a big deal. So I think it's possible that there was a disagreement and the Jedi took advantage of it.
I do think the Jedi sort of have to be more responsible, because nothing else really explains Master Torben willingly ingesting poison.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's clear that something major happened.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know who played him? The actor who plays Tommen. He's shot up, hasn't he?
Yeah. He looks more like Soloris now.
That's true.
Well, that's my takeaway from the episode anyway. I thought it was good, but I feel like we obviously another one to explain the other side, like what was happening with the Jedi.
Yeah, that's the only problem. I just really want to watch the next episode now to find out what's going on.
I wouldn't say that's a problem. I'd say it's doing its job.
That's a good thing. Yeah, exactly. That's the show doing its job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this was needed context for the relationship between the 2. It's also a nice exploration of a different view of the Force, which is always nice. The whole Jedi versus Sith thing has pretty much always been a false dichotomy.
Which is funny, because that's what I think we were led to think this show would primarily be, and so far that's kind of in the background. Obviously, there's that Master, but we've not seen him since the first episode. And we don't really know how he links in.
What if the Master is one of the survivors of the Coven?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we don't know how he links in with this whole story yet, because if they're going to do it well, they're going to have him be someone who's personal to both of the sisters in some way.
Well, this Master seems to know who they are, and I'm just going to say it right now, she fell down a fucking pit. You can't tell me she didn't survive. Like, what if...
Yeah, she must have been helped.
What if that Master... I'm just going to throw it... I'm probably going to be wrong, but what if that Master is one of her mothers?
Could well be.
Yeah, and
I'm just saying that would be a twist they could throw in, that one of the Coven survived, because they clearly could use the Force. Very clearly were capable of using the Force, and she's got to have learned it from someone. I don't believe that it is entirely possible some random Sith goes there and picks up the bones of the problem. But
I'm going to have to argue with you guys.
Go
on.
Sol doesn't draw his lightsaber until after she starts choking out. What's it called?
Yeah, that is true. They attacked first. The witches attacked first.
This is the thing. If we're assuming that the mother is the strongest one, from what I can see in the death scene with all the dead people, it looks like she choked out everyone in that room.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I think Mummy choked out everyone in that room when she went, no, she's leaving. No, we can't let her leave. And she choked out everyone in that room. While that strike team was taking on the Jedi at the front, because at the front there's damage, they're damaged, but there's not a single wound on the ones in the lobby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 shots.
I think there was 2 fights going on. I think there was horny Mummy at the entrance attacking the Jedi and then running back because they fucked up and brought the Jedi here, and Good Mummy was having a discussion on, no, we've got to let her leave. They turned on her because they're following Horny Mummy, and she had to force choke every fucker in there.
Oh.
Horn Mummy, no.
That's what the bodies are telling me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That could well be interesting.
The literally the ones at the gates have injuries. Everyone in the main hall doesn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is entirely possible that there was a disagreement on child, and that led to a split in the group of those who don't want the child to leave and those that are probably loyal to.
Which would mirror the two children, because you've got one that wants to leave, one that wants to stay, and you've got literally one parent wanting them to go, one wanting to stay, and the force divide probably literally is all the way through the faction as well.
And also,
So
the
I
ones
think they
that
turned
want,
on each other.
the ones that want to stay, well, one of the ones that want to stay is clearly a psycho. So,
Yeah.
like,
Well, we know that the as we've dubbed Horny Mummy is a psycho as well, because she's literally every fucking scene
I'm
is.
sorry, but I will argue that Horny Mommy is the only responsible one, and let me tell you, I can completely attest to being the only sane parent.
she's
there.
also the only one advocating violence, though.
Yeah, she's literally the first one to abdicate violence in every single scene. It's like, the Jedi here, we'll just kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to go to their ship. I'll form a strike force. Every single time. I think she had a subgroup and they went out, tried to solve the problem, and brought trouble back to the doorstep while Mummy Dearest was having this discussion, and they killed each other.
Well, they did say. Well, that guy did say before he killed himself, they thought they were doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the guilt of destroying the whole thing.
Well, it's possible that they tried to bring peace to the situation, but it got completely out of hand because, let's face it, Horny Mommy is quick to the point.
Mm.
Well,
And it's possible
because 2 points on the head.
It probably escalated beyond their control.
Yeah.
And before you know it, boom, they've suddenly killed a bunch of people. But that also means they've orphaned 2 girls.
That's true.
And they didn't go back to check for her.
Yeah.
That's also a thing, because she begged to go back, to go find a sister, and they kept having to tell her they can't go back.
And I think it's because, well, they dare not.
They dare not. No, they don't want to. They're young Jedi and a Padawan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Sol was younger then, and this was probably a huge learning experience for him. It probably explains why he is the way he is now.
Like,
yeah.
Reading that with the benefit of maximum doubt, Sol might have just thought it wouldn't do her any good to go back there. It would just hurt.
Yeah, but I'm thinking they hightailed her out there very fast for a good reason.
Yeah.
But she was in no fit state to go back at the end of that.
Oh, no.
This is true.
Well, yeah, no, a lot happened. Her home's just been destroyed. She's just had to fight, deal with a sister who is clearly nuttier than a squirrel shit. So,
although
yeah,
what I think's funny is that in this context, in this particular community, the one who just wants to go and live her life and be a Jedi is the crazy one.
Mm.
I suppose that
she's going against the grain here, so
I suppose that is
her being
technically
completely
accurate.
reasonable. Yeah, like she's the one that's going off the rails from everyone else's point of view.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, and that's what this show, because it's Star Wars and there's always a certain point of view kind of thing to it.
Yeah, there's not a single injury on any of these.
On the bodies.
Yeah, he's checking the corpses.
Fair.
No, but this is the funny thing. There's not even a sign of struggle on them.
I mean, I think if they had lightsaber cuts on there and showed it in this episode, it would give the game away. So I'm thinking, like you, they were killed through the Force.
Yeah. I think something happened in this chamber and something else happened outside.
I wouldn't say it's completely unbelievable for something.
See, that's
to
what's
go
good about this show. It gives us a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I think a couple of things. Well, as I say, I think the twins' relationship is going to turn out to be a dyad because that concept does need to be like exposited on what that actually entails at some point. I also,
I mean, the cowards did kill Ben, so we never really got to see it fully in action other than a few times.
yeah, and
Yeah, and I will stick by that. It was a cowardly act. Like,
well, they did it because it happened with Darth Vader and the whole. I've never been a fan of the whole redemptive death thing.
No,
because
it's like,
now,
just
Ollie,
let them live with what they did.
Ollie, I've got to ask you something.
Yeah.
Technically, wasn't Luke and Leia a dyad?
That's an interesting way of viewing it.
Because they had that super connection, only they both weren't trained.
Yeah,
it hasn't been
Leia
confirmed
does,
that that's what they were, but it does fit.
It makes
Leia
a lot
did
of
say
sense.
that she could sense when Luke was okay.
That was the thing.
It wasn't just one of those I have hope things. It was she could feel it. She knows.
Yeah.
Which, no offense, would explain why Leia somehow magically has force powers to that degree in later things. It's like, oh no, she now has them because they're both connected.
Also, when the dyad was done, wasn't it hinted that Palpatine/Snoke artificially made their dyad bond stronger and activated it?
Well, it was him who bridged their minds, is what he said.
Yeah.
Now, I was perfectly willing to forgive Leia suddenly having force powers on the grounds that it's been 30 years. She could have had some training in the interim. It's not a big deal. But I suppose them being a dyad does also fit.
By the way, can I just say, I'm sure Han gave her some training on the interim.
Oh.
What about the outer ring?
Yeah, I mean,
just for licking.
The outer ring.
Nice going, hand job Solo.
I like how he got his name from just a random guy. I don't know, it'd be like if we found out that Abraham Lincoln's called that because, I don't know, someone like met up with his dad and was like, oh, you've not got a name, okay, I'll just give you one. How about Lincoln? That sounds right.
Well, it wouldn't be as bad as almost all of the people that came to America and they were just given names.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think it's funny that, like, George Washington, is named after a town near Sunderland because his family were originally Geordies.
Yeah.
I wonder if he did speak with a Geordie accent.
Because a lot of the Irish were given just American names, weren't they, when they moved?
Yeah, because there was a lot of anti-Irish prejudice, so they were like, okay, let's try and fit in a bit more. I mean, likewise, in the First World War, people of German ancestry changed their last names, partially because they didn't want to be associated with Germany now that, America was at war with them. But anyway, this is a tangent. The Acolyte.
Yeah. Plus, all of Germany was on holiday at that time.
Yeah. And
Belgium,
because why wouldn't you want to keep a name that has a load of dirt attached to it?
I thought you were going to say, why wouldn't you want to keep Belgium?
Nothing happened in those years. We were all on holiday.
Ollie defends for Kaiser. I didn't have that on my bingo card for today.
Well, if you had, that would remain uncrossed out because that's not what I did. I was subtly making fun of people who think Rey should have kept the name Palpatine to redeem the name, which is...
Yeah, that's so dumb. I mean, if your name was like the same last name as a very famous dictator, you would change that. It's like, don't tell me if
there's no historical precedent of that happening.
No,
I would. Some of Hitler's
one...
relatives in America changed their last name for that very reason.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who would keep it and go, yeah, don't fuck with me, bitch?
Yeah, people would offer you. Like, yeah, my name's Mussolini. I've got powerful friends,
It's like, don't mess with him. He's Mussolini. Yeah, don't fuck with me, bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my name to Jong Il so I can just get things for free now.
Seb Jong Il. I
Yeah, just start wearing the turtlenecks and stuff to, and have my hair done like that.
No,
anyway.
No, Il was his given name.
Yes, it was Kim. Okay, Seb Kim.
No, it would be, well, I suppose in that case it would be Kim Jong Seb.
Kim Jong Seb. Yes, I like that.
Oh God.
Anyway, Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Let's
What
tell.
else there is to say about this one? I kind of liked that we got a flashback episode. I wasn't necessarily expecting the whole episode to be a flashback like that.
So it's an 8-episode series, yeah.
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 I think what we're going to get is we're going to get the beginning of the Wookiee bit, then we're going to get a flashback from Soul's point of view, and then we're going to get the climax. How I
like the idea of showing it through different characters' points of view.
Speaking of climax, stop teasing me with the Wookiee Jedi. Just let me see a Wookiee Jedi go nuts.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Did anyone just have a vision of me teasing Ollie with a plushie of a Wookiee Jedi in a sexual way?
I didn't, but now you've put that image in everyone's
head. Out my head. Yeah.
Stop teasing me with the Wookiee. Let me climax is what you said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was kind of the joke I was getting at.
Now, if I rub him this way with this Wookiee, he'll love it. That's not the Wookiee, that's him.
Laura does a very good Wookiee.
I don't want to do another tangent, but I'm surprised that Pete, hasn't.
But you're gonna anyway.
Yeah. Because remember that dream you had about Pete?
Oh, yeah.
A friend of ours.
The dream in question was we all went to see a nebulous new Star Wars movie. I can't remember anything that happened in it.
It was episode 7. This is how long ago the dream was. It was before the sequels were even announced.
Yeah.
It was like a decade ago.
So, but in the dream, Chewie died in the new Star Wars movie, and we all sort of like raised a glass to him in the KFC across from the cinema at the end, and Pete did a Wookiee growl, and that was the dream. But apparently...
Didn't everyone clap as well?
Yeah. And apparently he can't actually do
those. KFC had seen the same movie and knew the context. I also jokingly said as we were going into Flash, oh, Luke dies, and then, it actually happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't even predict it, I just said it like as a joke, like, oh, we're going to spoil the movie for people, and it turns out I was correct.
Yeah. I don't know whether that was...
Nostradamus.
No one's made a line of Wookiee sex toys.
Well, have you not seen the holiday special?
Oh, Lord.
I'm just surprised that no one's
because
made
doesn't
it.
Grandpa have that VR porn? I'm not joking, by the way. This actually happens in it.
Yeah, George Lucas guessed what the first thing people would do with VR was.
I mean,
Well, probably the second thing.
Well, some of the feminists out there, they're not far off, are they?
But yeah, I liked this episode. It's hard to find things to say about it because it was very self-explanatory. I like the characters. I'm finding them more interesting, and I'm hoping that they become a big enough presence that their story continues in some way after this. Maybe as leave open the option for a spin-off potentially in that time era, because I would actually new time eras.
I would actually respect them more if they closed it off.
Oh yeah, I want the stories to be closed off, but I want it to be so that they could do more expanded universe stuff with those characters potentially. Yeah.
Although, in the first High Republic novel, it is established that every Jedi perceives the Force differently. Say, when meditating, the Wookiee Jedi, Buryaga, sees himself as a leaf on a big tree, whereas someone might see themselves as pebbles in a great ocean, or something like that.
No one feels samey in this show, even though there's two identical twins.
So that's what I thought of when they started talking about the thread. The great thread that connects everyone. And
isn't he the guy who tells them all to split off and look for clues?
No, that's Fred.
Oh, you don't think he's great?
No, not really.
It's just alright, isn't he?
He can pull off an ascot. That's quite good.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah,
he can.
I'd like to be able to do that. No, I prefer Velma. Not the show, the character. I never saw the show.
Nor did I, and I'm not going to.
No, I don't want to. Anyway.
Hate watching is why we get more of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I certainly didn't hate watch this. I thought it was very good. I'm looking forward to seeing more of
I mean,
the modern day cast, like Soul and
I think
Himbo Jedi.
I mean, I'm liking it enough, but I think Andor has ruined me.
Yeah, I get that.
Andor,
it was of a particularly high quality, wasn't it?
Andor has given me standards for the rest of Star Wars now, and it's
That's
made
dangerous to
yeah,
have.
it's made the rest of the output suffer in comparison. Not to the point where I can't enjoy it, but it's like I know how good they can do now.
I figured out what's causing me my mind to go funny.
What's that?
There's no weapons.
There's no weapons.
There's
In
no
the
weapons.
show, yeah, because
In the main hall, there's no weapons. They have spears, they have bows. There's not a single weapon in that main hall.
so you're saying that it could have been a preempting attack?
Are you?
No, I said I think the meeting. I think they took each other out. She killed them all in the meeting as an ambush.
So it was okay.
Do you think?
Get them when it's easy.
Do you think that maybe the master is horny mommy?
I think horny mummy is the woman in the crash helmet.
It's all coming together.
I think Crash Helmet guy is the horny mummy.
Crash
Because
helmet.
when someone's wearing a helmet, there's always an assumption that it's someone else, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because
It's
do you know the only?
Is
do you know
this
what
Cal Kestis? Oh, is this just insert name here? I mean, I think there was a theory that Kylo Ren was going to turn out to be Luke very early on.
They're not putting Cal Kestis in a TV series.
The only loose items in this pile of bodies is a walking staff.
As opposed to a member of staff.
No, in referred to no bows, no guns, no spears, which we saw them all. That subsect of herb guys. Oh, wait a minute. Here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Have you noticed literally when you go back, there's purple and blue.
Oh.
There is a guard sect in dark blue.
Interesting.
And not one of these people on the ground are in the dark blue.
Are a guard, okay. Alright. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I think there's probably something in this.
All of the people that draw bows and spears with the Jedi in the main hall have the dark blue hoods. Not one of them in the hall, in the death scene in the hall, there's not a dark blue. They're all purples, which means they're all priests and priestesses. The hunting squad are in dark blues for camouflage. And there's not a single one of them in the body mass. I think I'm pretty sure that there are survivors and there are dark blues. They are all in dark blue.
So now you've presented that piece of evidence, I am definitely swinging more to the side of they started it or they were responsible for it, and the Jedi. I'm not sure how they come into it.
The only thing.
No, wait, I've told a lie. There's one in dark blue.
Yeah, they could have lost one in that struggle, couldn't they?
The only problem I have with that is it doesn't explain why the guy would drink poison.
Yeah.
Well, I said maybe he felt just responsible for the death of 40 to 50 people.
They could have intervened in some way to protect them, and they're like, no, this is actually makes things easier for us.
Here, Ollie, this is what I think is going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to approach the ship, and he's going to be the first one to act because he got choked out.
You got Will Ospreay's theme as a ringtone.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
that's
that's
true.
that's my. No, that's my text alert.
Oh, right.
Ollie,
I think you've got a text now.
No, Joe Hendry's my ringtone.
Yeah, Ollie, I think the hunting squad approached the ship to force them off, and he's the one who starts the fight because he got choked out.
Huh.
I mean, he is a Padawan.
I think he rushes in and starts the fight at the ship, and then they run back take out everyone at the base when they go, no, we've agreed to let them take her. They take them out and then fuck off.
Oh.
And I
Possibly.
think Masked Woman is running a subcult of witches and trying to make the Acolyte.
They do seem annoyed with each other.
Mm.
Like the
Yeah.
mummies seem very annoyed with each other, mainly because one of them very clearly is being the more maternal and serious parent.
And the thing is, I can see a Padawan jumping in because he got choked out.
Yeah, so sort of like a wounded pride kind of thing.
Mm.
Or it just might be a reflex because he's still a
Yeah.
Padawan and he's still learning. And
yeah.
the last time we saw these people, they choked him out, and not in a normal way.
No, they did
choked
the
him out in a
dark
way that
possession
changed his
way.
fucking eye color.
Mm.
That's not normal choking.
Yeah, but they choked the white out of his eye.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I?
So yeah, you could justify that he was probably scared.
And also,
yeah.
like, they would have been
and
taught to
reacted.
defend themselves against a force choke. So this is something else.
Yeah, because like the Sith have been extinct for a millennium, quote unquote, and
Well, it's
you
one
know,
thing to learn. It's one
they're
thing
probably
to
not
learn
used to
about.
that.
But it's one thing to learn about something in a controlled environment. It's another to be done by people who are very, very open to killing you.
Yeah.
They're not training you. They are trying to fucking kill you, and that's probably more terrifying because they're not holding back for your benefit.
Yeah, because they might not have much practical experience of fighting force users, you know, outside of a sparring environment.
Here's an interesting thing. You know, May's wearing the purple robes of the Witch Coven.
Oh yeah.
If you look at all of the scenes she's in from episode 1 and 2, the hood she uses is the dress cloak from her mother.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so it's like, you know, she's the one who's sentimental the most towards the mother.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how you're noticing all these things because I
No,
sure
that's
as hell didn't.
great.
So I'm a
I
bit embarrassed,
remember
actually.
I defend shows for many
Living.
reasons. So I notice these things quite clearly when it's like,
Yeah, I'm
there's
glad
two
you're here
factions
because,
here.
yeah. Yeah, you've noticed a lot of small details, and I feel like this is one of those shows where once it's aired, I'm gonna go back and watch it and notice tiny things in the background. And go, oh, that's why that was there. You know, I feel like a lot of planning in terms of background stuff and minor hints has gone into the show, and it's completely gone over most people's heads because we're just not looking for it.
Yeah, Ollie, I'll put it in the chat because the
Okay.
you can see the darker blue coverings on these guys.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Anyone who's got a weapon has the darker blue.
Yeah, so those will be the strike force.
Because they're obviously the hunters and the weapon users.
That first picture does look like a meme template, like, I don't know, the Acolyte. Star Wars fans and the people with arrows in the background are like other Star Wars fans waiting to hate on the people that like it. Yeah, there's a lot of similarity there. I'm also curious to find out more about that symbol on the head. Because it's been verbally brought up enough times that it's going to be important later.
Now, this looks like something I saw in Clone Wars. It looks like the star chart point.
Yeah.
For a link gate, which means if both of them had them, it would be full-on coordinates for probably for the link to the divine. What's it called? Planet where the Force actually resides, or something
Mortis.
like that.
Mortis, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
that's where I
because
fall
it's
down.
not
I fall
Dave
down on
Filoni's
names.
show. I'm not sure it will go into Mortis, but you never know.
No, but that's what it could be. It could be a representation of directions.
Yeah, it could be an Easter egg, or it could be something really consequential. It's
No,
really
I mean when you have both of them, it literally tells you where a source of power is, and that's where these witches are supposed to go.
I see. Okay.
I'm gonna have the hot take here, and I'm gonna say I hope Mortis doesn't come up again.
No, I don't think it will. I think it's a Jedi temple source of power sort of thing. This is where the witches should be because it's got the highest condensity of life, like the what's it called, witches have.
Magic.
Because they have to stay in certain
Spell with a
places
K.
because the force magic is like stupidly strong there because of the living essence and the death.
Yeah.
I don't understand the reason why, but I always liked when they spell magic with a K.
Magic.
Yeah, I like
So
that
they-
because it's a redundant letter, and I don't know the reason for it. And
mean
if
like
anyone
the
wants to jump in and
you mean
tell
like
me
the
the
X-Men?
reason, Huh?
You mean like the X-Men character?
I don't know
There's a
how that's
literal-
spelled. With a K at the end.
Well, that's a literal. Yeah, there's a literal X-Men character whose name is Magic, spelt with a K.
If anyone knows what the K means and why it's there, I would love to know. And like,
Yeah,
drop
I
a
think
comment.
it's supposed to be pronounced magique when it's got a K.
Oh, is it magic?
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. It sounds good on the mouth.
Well, that's what I think. It's like because it's the definition between the two. The magic, which is the in quotes magic,
Yeah.
it's magic with air quotes, and magique, which is the original form for spell casting and necromancy and stuff.
Either that or a French magician.
Yeah, I always sound French when I say magic like that. It's
Magique.
like magic. It's
Yeah.
like jic at the end. But I always say
mon
magic
père,
because it
the
sounds
magic.
it sounds less. Well, the thing is, most magic was European anyway. It was
Yeah.
Romanian and Gypsy esque.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would be either a French twist or an Italian twist.
Yeah,
on
because
it.
it's a Romance language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about. It was something to do with this show.
So, ladies and gentlemen, watch the cloaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wait, I
with
want
that,
to. I
think
want to
we're-
know if the master's wearing a cloak now. I'm going to find that.
I'm just picturing a Sacha Darwin wearing a cloak now.
No, not that master.
Ah, right.
No, Crash Helmet Head.
Okay, so I think we're coming up on time on the podcast now.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any closing thoughts?
No,
Again,
I'm just looking forward to next week's, to be honest with you.
Again, I can't really say anything more until the next episode.
I've got one closing thought.
Go on.
There you go, people. All the people that bitched and moaned that episode 1 didn't explain what happened. You have the episode now that explained what happened. Because literally a lot of the reviews are, 10 minutes into this first episode, I don't know why they're doing it.
Why don't I know everything right off the bat?
And I was
that
like,
annoys me. Just be patient.
I was like, wow, it's the fucking, what's it called, isn't it? I can only have an attention span of a finger flick, or I'm an idiot.
Maybe watch the fucking show.
Yeah,
literally, after the first 2 episodes, their complaint was they didn't explain why she was doing it. I went, that's the mystery. That's what you're going to come back for, you bloody tart.
Only complaints I was hearing were the standard, woke, and fire in space. So in lieu of any actual problems being brought up.
What was it? I had the fire in space, and what was the other one that was a common
So you're saying this show about magic people in space isn't scientifically accurate?
Also, fire in space has always been a thing in Star Wars.
We can have fire underwater, so we can have fire in space. Secondly,
well, it's actually scientifically possible to have fire underwater.
Yeah,
but it needs to be a really intense flame that renews faster than the water puts it out.
Such as warp drive fuel, maybe burning off. But
it's
what
fantasy.
What was it? The other one. Most of the complaints are about her hair looking like a mop, and I went, well, that's racist because those are dreadlocks for women.
So do they have any actual problems?
I don't think they leave the house, to be honest with you.
Technically speaking, dreadlocks are Dutch, so...
Oh, no, this is the one that I brought up with Alex last night.
Oh, Lord.
People moaning that you can survive a lightsaber hit, but you can't survive a metal object being plunged through your heart.
I mean, that's just common sense, that you can't survive that.
No, but they think that they should have survived the thing in the heart.
Why?
Because they survived a lightsaber to a non-vital area.
Oh, it cauterizes the wound. And then, of course, we got onto but it should boil you instantly. I went, where have you ever seen that
Yeah.
ever been a thing from a lightsaber that you can do.
I mean,
I
scientifically
mean, if it
it
could do
should,
that, the
but
Jedi
it's
wouldn't
never
use
been
them.
established that it does, and it's actually been
No.
established that it doesn't because it never did.
It's like, oh, it can melt the door. Yeah, because it's in direct contact with the door. Constantly in contact with the door. It would burn. But it does do that. It cauterizes a wound if you stab them with it. I was like, what Alex was implying was, if you get hit by a lightsaber, you should explode.
I mean, that is scientifically closer to what would probably happen in a similar situation. However,
No, but
Again, it's
I
people not realizing that it's fantasy and not science fiction.
yeah.
No,
You
that
know,
was the
there's a
thing.
difference.
I literally sat there and went, but where have you ever seen that be the case that a lightsaber's ever been allowed to do that? And he was like, oh yeah, but the new Star Wars ruined lightsabers. I went, in the original they didn't do that.
Yeah,
You know why a lightsaber cauterizes the wound?
So you can
because
take
they
them.
burn.
No, it's so you don't kill them.
It's so that
'Cause
you
then-
can. It's so that the ratings can stay PG-13
Oh, yeah.
while including dismembered limbs.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
that and
that's the non-canon real-world reason.
That and technically it means a lightsaber strike isn't lethal, which means Jedi can actually wield them because
I
they
will make
don't
it
want to kill
lethal.
people.
Well, okay, that's the Watsonian reason. The Doyleist reason is because bloodless limb chopping is okay in PG-13 ratings.
And the
But no-
old-oilist reason is that
Right.
that whole family just needs to have some kind of grudge with Adam Sandler for some reason.
No, but seriously, the quoting of everyone survives a lightsaber shot, but they should be able to survive a 6-inch metal object piercing the heart. And I went,
You gotta
What?
treat lightsabers as swords because that's what the show does. So
Yeah,
you can survive a sword to the gut. You won't
What was
survive
it-
a
what was
knife
the,
to the heart.
yeah,
was it the
it's
other
not
one?
going to hurt
Oh
you,
yeah,
but you know, they've got
she should have been able to dodge. Should have been able to dodge it or do something against the throw in the chest. I went. Her
It took her
concentration
by
was
surprise.
well, no, her concentration was stop that one hitting that man.
Yeah, because like that's how you kill a Jedi, because you know their compassion's always going to lead them to save others.
Yeah,
So the way you kill them is by
We've
putting them
se-
in a
we've
conflict. It's like Yoda, you know, in Attack of
Well,
the
we-
Clones.
I said we've seen that like 3 or 4 times. It's like you get distracted, you get sliced in half. That's how you take out a Jedi.
Yeah. This show is very Star Wars, and I appreciate it for that.
Yeah.
While not relying on old characters or stuff we've already seen. You know, it's not rehashing old ground too much, and I like that.
Yeah, no, I like the
It's keeping it
new
fresh.
setting, and I quite like the High Republic as a setting.
Also,
'cause-
it's shot well. If they filmed this in the volume, it's very hard to tell.
And if they do the dyad thing, and people are saying, "Oh, that's," well, I don't know if this is what people are saying, but I can see people saying that 100 years before the Phantom Menace is way too soon for there to be another like Immaculate Force conception. Keep in mind that, and I was saying this to Dad. I thought, well, a minor nitpick I had was that 100 years ago seems a bit short in cosmic time scales for
Also,
this to
one
happen
yeah,
twice. However,
one
I then went on to say, but Luke Skywalker faded into myth within 30 years, so it's a big galaxy, I guess. And then he pointed out that the Jedi faded into myth in 19.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, just think of the real world. Like, think of someone important from 30, 40 years ago. A lot of people won't remember or know who they are.
yeah, and well, that's true. Between episodes 3 and 4, everyone basically forgot the Jedi were a thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Like,
big
how
galaxy.
how many years was it between like the Last Jedi and Return of the Jedi?
It was about 30.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember who was president of the United States 30 years ago?
Not off the top of my head.
Exactly. Not off the top of your head. So you know, it's like people are going to forget these important historical like events, and also I'm not sure that other than like amongst people in the know, like people in the Imperial and New Republic hierarchy, he was a particularly well-known figure because, like, he wasn't really a political leader. He was just like the guy who got Darth Vader to change sides.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
you know who else has those dreadlocks, right?
Right.
Go on.
Our friend the Knight has those dreadlocks.
Oh yeah, I like that himbo man.
So it's obviously a thing in the Empire that you have that is a hairstyle to
Oh, yeah,
have the
we've seen it
twisted
before.
locks.
It's just a thing that people have. So I mean,
It was just how much of a 20-minute video ranting about her having a head like a mop, and I'm like, yeah,
here's
okay.
something else interesting. Like, you know, I can't remember her name, but she's a very good actress. She was good in Queen's Gambit, which I saw her in before Kenobi. But the actress who plays Reva, apparently she insisted on the dreadlocks for her character, so that like when kids go to Halloween parties, and you know, if they're kids with dreadlocks, they have a Star Wars character, can they dress up as, you know, who and like so they won't have to like change their hairstyle just to like be a Star Wars character.
Well, that's cool.
Which I think is kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think we're reaching a natural crescendo for this podcast. So, does anybody have anything to plug? Sound off.
I'm glad you didn't say climax. Sorry.
Why
Sorry,
bring it
I'll
up?
cut you off.
Why bring it up?
Funny.
Yeah.
Stop climaxing on the show.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay, so right, I've been Ollie Johnson. You can find me as Ollie Johnson pretty much everywhere.
He still is.
Mostly Twitch. That's also a YouTube channel, Ollie Johnson Plays, which the last episode of this podcast went out to by accident because I forgot to switch the channel. There is also twitch.tv/TriggerGoblin for our friend Trigger here, who, I mean, is it just Warframe you stream on Sundays at the moment?
We're on hiatus at the moment because of obviously Father's Day.
Ah.
So it was last week I was off, and this week I'm going to be off, and then hopefully back to making regularly scheduled products again after that.
Yeah, well, regardless, follow Trigger at twitch.tv/TriggerGoblin. Murasaki's Pit is mostly just...
I haven't made any content myself in a long time, but I'm generally with you or Trigger.
You basically guest on our streams, so he
At this
will...
point, it's until I can get a reliable, internet for streaming. There's not really much point in me doing anything.
Yeah, fair enough. But
I just don't have the energy for it at the moment. I'm better as a participant. Plus, you have me basically working to get your trophies.
Well, no, it's just what tends to happen with SharePlay. But
yeah.
So you can catch.
So I always let you finish. Yeah, you always get to finish the Yakuza.
Well, yeah, because they keep blocking you off from that one.
Except for 3. 3 gave me the option.
Yeah. And you can catch Mora on Mafia Monday and Tonbury Tuesday on this very Twitch stream. Twitch.tv/Ollie Johnson if you happen to be watching this on Twitter or YouTube, or where else is it going? Yeah, just Twitter and YouTube. And our absent co-host Dan will be with me for Assassin Sunday on Sunday, where we are playing Ghost of Tsushima and expanding the legend of Lord Baskethead, the Laundry Ronin.
Nice.
And same time next week, gents.
Yeah, and the same back channel.
And until next time, may the force be with you, and we'll see you soon.
Yes.